your pocket for some spare change and pulling out a coin so ordinary looking that you almost toss it into a vending machine. But what if I told you that this very coin could secretly be worth over $1 million? That's right. The 2021 P quarter, a coin you might dismiss as everyday pocket change, has shocked collectors with an astronomical value of $1.2 million on today's market. Now, before you shrug it off thinking, yeah, right, my luck is as good as winning the lottery, let me ask you this: how many times have you ignored a coin without even looking at it closely? Because if you've done that recently, you could already have missed the opportunity of a lifetime. Stick with me, because in this video, I'll reveal why this unassuming quarter is creating waves among collectors, what makes it so rare, and how everyday Americans just like you can turn forgotten change into financial freedom. But let me warn you, if you think this is just about coins, you're mistaken. This is about opportunity, timing, and the courage to act before it's too late. So let's dig in. The 2021 P quarter was minted in Philadelphia, and at first glance, it looks no different from the millions of others in circulation. But here's the twist: some of these coins contain minting errors and unique qualities that make them nearly impossible to replicate. It's these tiny differences, often overlooked by the casual spender, that turn a 25-cent piece into $1 million ticket. Think of it this way. Imagine two houses on the same street. They look identical from the outside, but one hides a vault filled with treasure. That's the 2021 P quarter. Most people will never notice, but those who do could change their entire future. And now, here's where it gets exciting. Collectors are scrambling, auctions are heating up, and these quarters are no longer just coins. They're financial weapons, tools that can pay off debts, build wealth, or even secure retirement. And here's the fear factor: every time you let a quarter slip through your fingers without checking it, you might be losing out on more than $1 million. But hold on a second. You might be thinking, yeah, but what are the chances? That's exactly what people said about the first person who found one of these quarters tucked inside an old coffee can. And when the bidding started, jaws dropped as the final gavel hit $1.2 million. And now, here's the cliffhanger. You're probably wondering, what specific features make this quarter so valuable? Well, don't worry, I'll get to that, but first, let's pause for a moment. Have you ever laughed at the idea of saving coins in a jar? Maybe your spouse rolled their eyes and said, "Why bother with that junk?" If so, let this be the moment where the joke flips. Because those jars, those little ignored stashes of change, might be sitting on a gold mine. The Philadelphia Mint produced these quarters during a transitional time, and certain dies used in the process created striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and even missing details. These errors transform a standard quarter into a collectible masterpiece. And here's the kicker: these errors are nearly impossible to spot unless you're looking for them. This creates a sense of urgency. Because with each passing day, more of these quarters are being discovered, sold, and locked away in private collections. And once they're gone, they're gone. The window to cash in could slam shut before most people even realize it was open. Now let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I dismissed a handful of coins my uncle handed me. He told me, "One day, these will matter." I laughed, put them in a drawer, and forgot about them. Years later, I found that one of those coins was worth thousands. Imagine the kick in the gut when I realized I had treated it like a worthless trinket. Don't make the same mistake. The specific details that can help you identify a valuable 2021 P quarter. Look for doubling on the inscriptions, weak strikes on the reverse, or slight misalignments that cause the image to look off-center. These aren't obvious mistakes, they're subtle, almost like secret signatures left by the minting machines. Collectors are obsessed with these details, and that obsession drives the price sky high. That's how we get from a quarter worth 25 cents to a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. And here's another cliffhanger. What if I told you that more than one type of error exists, and some of them haven't even been cataloged yet? Meaning, the next great discovery could literally come from the change in your pocket. So let's bring this home. The 2021 P quarter is more than just a coin, it's a reminder that opportunities often come disguised as ordinary things. Most people will overlook them. Most people will dismiss them. But a select few, the ones who pay attention, are the ones who walk away with life-changing wealth. Ask yourself this: will you be the person who tosses away a fortune because you didn't take a closer look, or will you be the one who seizes the moment, digs into your collection, and changes your future? Remember, wealth isn't just about luck. It's about awareness, action, and timing. Right now, you have the awareness. The action is simple: check your coins, research them, and if you find one, hold on tight because your financial life could transform overnight. Now, here's your call to action. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want to know about every coin, every penny, every opportunity that could fund your retirement or even build generational wealth, then hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey. Don't let another $1 million coin slip through your fingers unnoticed. The future of your wealth could be sitting right in your pocket. What if I told you that the change rattling around in your pocket right now could be worth more than a mansion, a luxury car, and an early retirement combined? Imagine holding a simple 25-cent piece and realizing it could change your life forever. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most shocking stories in modern coin collecting, the 2006 P Mint Mark South Dakota $quarter coin, a coin with a current market value of $1.3 million. Yes, one coin, one quarter, worth more than most people will ever see in their bank account. Before you think this is just another exaggerated coin tale, hold on. This is real. And by the end of this video, you'll not only know why this particular quarter is worth millions but also how you could uncover one in your own possession. Because let's face it, your financial future might just be hiding at the bottom of an old coffee can in your garage. But wait, let me interrupt myself with a question. Be honest, when's the last time you even looked closely at a quarter before handing it over for a cup of coffee? See? That's exactly why people miss fortunes every single day. So sit tight, because what you're about to learn will open your eyes to a whole new world of wealth hidden in plain sight. Let's start with the basics. The 2006 South Dakota State Quarter was part of the famous 50 State Quarters program. Millions were minted, yes, but among them, a few rare pieces stand out. The ones with the P Mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, carry special varieties and errors that make collectors drool. Now here's where the excitement kicks in. Most people think these state quarters are just novelty change. They'll say, "Oh, I remember when those came out, I just spent them without thinking." And that's exactly where the fear factor comes in. Because if you did that, you might have literally spent $1 million coin on a gas station soda. Let that sink in for a second. Imagine walking into a store with $1 million coin in your pocket and trading it for a Snickers bar. Painful, right? Let me break it down. It's not just about rarity. It's about condition, striking errors, and historical appeal. Some of these quarters were minted with double die errors, misstrikes, or unusual anomalies that slipped past inspectors. Combine that with pristine condition, and suddenly, what was once worth 25 cents becomes a millionaire's prize. I'll tell you exactly what to look for in just a moment, but first, let's step back in time. When these coins were released, I remember collecting a few myself, thinking they'd be neat keepsakes. Fast forward years later, I checked one and realized it was just pocket change. But what if I had looked closer? That question haunts collectors every day. And maybe, right now, you're starting to feel that tingle of curiosity too. Could one of those forgotten rolls of quarters in your house hold the key to a whole new lifestyle? Alright, back to the details. Here's what makes the $1 million South Dakota quarter stand out. Look at the obverse and reverse. Check for sharp details, no wear, no scratches. Then, here's the kicker: error patterns. Doubled lettering, off-center strikes, die cracks near Mount Rushmore's engraving. These details send collectors into bidding wars, and bidding wars mean skyrocketing prices. Just last year, one sold for an astronomical sum, climbing into the millions. Imagine being that seller, walking away with a check that sets you free from debt forever. If you're thinking, "That'll never happen to me," let me remind you, somebody has to find these coins. Why not you? Let's talk about the lifestyle shift. A $1.3 million coin isn't just about bragging rights. It's about security. No more living paycheck to paycheck. No more worrying about retirement. No more stressing over whether you can afford to fix the car or pay medical bills. One coin could unlock a wealthy lifestyle that people spend decades chasing, but here's the urgency. Coins like these don't just sit around forever. Collectors are hunting, dealers are searching, and opportunities slip away. Every day that you don't check your coins, you risk missing out, and here's a little story to prove my point. A man in Pennsylvania once found a rare quarter sitting in a jar of change he'd saved for years. He almost cashed it in at the bank. At the very last second, he decided to check it online. That decision changed his life. He didn't just find a coin, he found his financial independence. Do you have jars of coins sitting around? Rolls of quarters you've never inspected? If you do, you might be sitting on a lottery ticket you didn't even know you had. We've walked through the history, the rarity, the emotional weight, and the potential life-changing value of the 2006 P South Dakota quarter. We've talked about the fear of missing out, the excitement of discovery, and the urgency to act now. So here's the bottom line. You could ignore this, keep spending quarters like they're just pocket change, and miss out on millions. Or you could take control, check your coins, and possibly secure the kind of wealth that changes everything. The choice is yours. Will you treat your coins as pocket change, or will you start treating them as hidden treasure? And here's your next step. Go check your coins today. Look closely. Study them. And while you're at it, subscribe to this channel right now. Because every week, I bring you stories and strategies that reveal the hidden wealth sitting in plain sight. And realizing one of those dull, ordinary quarters could unlock a fortune worth $1.8 million. That's not fantasy, it's reality for a few lucky collectors who stumbled upon the legendary 1978 D Washington quarter. Now let me ask you something. How many times have you tossed quarters into a jar, a vending machine, or a parking meter without giving them a second thought? What if, in one of those moments, you unknowingly gave away your ticket to financial freedom? Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey into the world of the 1978 D Washington quarter. We'll uncover why this coin is valued in the millions, the mistakes that make it unique, and how you can identify one if it's hiding in your collection. And don't worry, I'll break this down in plain English, with a few laughs along the way. After all, if we're talking about coins, I want you awake, not snoozing, but be warned. If you check your coins too late, you might miss the opportunity of a lifetime. Let's dive in first. Let's set the stage. The year is 1978. Gas is cheap, disco is still alive, and the Denver Mint is churning out millions of quarters. To most people, these coins were nothing more than pocket change, worth exactly 25 cents. But what no one realized then was that a tiny fraction of these coins had something extraordinary about them. Not all coins are created equal. Some 1978 D quarters left the mint with subtle errors or unique characteristics, imperfections that would later transform them into collector's treasures. A misplaced mint mark, a doubled die, or even striking issues could push the value of a simple quarter into the stratosphere. How many times have you dismissed a coin because it looked ordinary? That's the danger. That's the fear I want you to feel, because the only thing separating a regular 25-cent coin from a $1.8 million jackpot is knowledge, and action means you actually have to look. You have to get your hands dirty, search those old jars, those coffee tins, and those dusty boxes in the attic. You'd be surprised how many million-dollar stories began in the back of a sock drawer. And now, let me drop a quick pattern interrupt. If you're thinking, I'll check my coins tomorrow, let me remind you, tomorrow, someone else could walk into a coin shop with your $1 million quarter because you never bothered to look today. Do you really want to live with that regret? The Denver Mint marked these coins with the famous D. For collectors, the placement, the clarity, and the way the D was struck are key. In some cases, coins show signs of double striking. Others reveal off-center strikes that make them instantly rare. And then there are those crisp, pristine specimens, graded at the highest levels, that fetch astronomical prices at auctions. Let me give you an example. Imagine two quarters. Both minted in Denver. One has seen decades of wear, scratching around in soda machines and glove compartments. It's worth 25 cents. The other was struck perfectly, preserved in flawless condition, and sold at auction for a staggering $1.8 million. Same year. Same mint. The difference? Condition and rarity. That contrast is both thrilling and terrifying. Because it means the wealth is already in circulation, you just don't know where. And here's a cliffhanger for you. Did you know that one of the most valuable 1978 D quarters was nearly thrown out during a coin collection downsizing? We'll come back to that story in a moment, but first, let's talk about how you can protect yourself from making the same mistake. Let me share something personal. Years ago, I was cleaning out my grandfather's old desk. In the back, hidden under some yellowing receipts and a couple of rusty keys, I found a coffee can filled with coins. My first thought? Spare change for laundry. But curiosity got the better of me. I sat there one evening, examining each coin under the lamp. Most of them were ordinary, but tucked in the pile was a quarter that just felt different. It wasn't a 1978 D, but it turned out to be valuable, worth hundreds. At that moment, I realized something powerful. How many people in my own family, in your family, in millions of households across America, have unknowingly overlooked treasures? That night, I made myself a promise. Never ignore the little things, because sometimes, the little things hold million-dollar secrets. First, check the mint mark. Look for the D under Washington's portrait. Second, examine the condition, as scratches, wear, or discoloration can reduce value, but don't dismiss coins too quickly. Even imperfect ones can surprise you. Third, consider professional grading. This is the step where amateurs separate from serious collectors. A coin graded as mint state 67 or higher can command life-changing prices, and now, let's address the fear. There are people out there who will take advantage of your ignorance. Unscrupulous buyers, online listings that downplay true value, even shady dealers who hope you don't know better. This is why education matters. And that's why you're watching this video. Because the more you know, the harder it is for anyone to cheat you out of your fortune. But here's where the urgency kicks in. The market is hot right now. Every year, rare coin values fluctuate. What sells for $1.8 million today might dip tomorrow or skyrocket even higher. Waiting too long could cost you everything. So let's circle back to that story I teased earlier. A collector was downsizing, ready to sell off part of his stash. He almost tossed out a 1978 D quarter, thinking it was just another coin. But something held him back, maybe instinct, maybe luck. He had it checked. That single quarter sold for nearly $1.8 million. One coin. One moment of hesitation. That's what changed his life forever. The opportunity is real, but it won't wait for you. Somewhere out there, maybe in your house, maybe in your wallet, maybe in a dusty drawer, could be a coin that changes your financial destiny. But only if you take action now. But if you want to learn more strategies on finding, identifying, and selling coins worth millions, subscribe right now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Because I promise you, this is just the beginning. There are more coins, more stories, and more opportunities waiting for those who are ready. Don't let your million-dollar quarter slip through your fingers. Act today. Imagine this. You're digging through an old coffee can of change in your garage, or maybe you're rolling quarters to take to the bank. You pull out what looks like an ordinary 1979 quarter. No shine. No fireworks. Just a beat-up piece of change you've seen thousands of times. But what if I told you that one of those very coins, a 1979 D Washington quarter, is worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but a staggering $1.9 million? Yes, you heard me right. That single quarter sitting in your hand could be worth more than the average American home. That's not just pocket change, that's life-changing. Now, before you dismiss this as some wild coin collector fantasy, stay with me. Because over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to reveal why the 1979 D quarter is one of the most surprising millionaire-making coins in circulation, how you can spot one in your own collection, and most importantly, how you can turn old pocket change into a ticket to financial freedom. And trust me, you don't want to click away, because if you do, you might just miss the one detail that separates an ordinary coin from a $1.9 million jackpot. First, let's paint the picture. The year was 1979. Gas was 86 cents a gallon. The Walkman had just been released. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint was cranking out millions of Washington quarters. On the surface, nothing unusual. But history has a funny way of hiding treasure in plain sight. Now, some of you might be thinking, come on, how could a coin from the late 70s be worth millions? Isn't that too recent to matter? That's exactly what makes it so fascinating. Unlike ancient Roman coins or Civil War-era pennies, these quarters were made in our lifetimes. You could have spent one at a gas station. In fact, you probably did. Out of millions produced, only a handful carry the rare traits, minting errors, and condition factors that push their value into millionaire territory. And if you're thinking, well, I probably don't have one, let me stop you right there. That's what every person thinks until someone shows up at an auction with a coin they fished out of a shoebox and walks away with a check that looks like a phone number, or that fear of missing out, that thought, What if I'm sitting on fortune and don't even know it, is exactly why you need to know the signs. How many times have you tossed spare change into a tip jar, or into that old piggy bank at home, without looking twice? If your answer is too many, keep watching. Because the next time you do, you might be dropping $1.9 million into the pizza guy's pocket. Here's where things get exciting. The 1979 D Washington quarter from Denver holds its value for three main reasons: rarity, condition, and error. Rarity is obvious. Out of millions, only a select few have survived in pristine, untouched condition. Collectors call this mint state, and it's the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one that could pay for a mansion. Condition is where people get blindsided. A coin in average circulation might fetch you a few bucks. But in flawless mint state? That's when collectors open their wallets. The top-graded coins, the kind that look like they were struck yesterday, are the ones making headlines, and then comes error, the true wildcard. Double strikes, misalignments, or missing details are the golden tickets of the coin world. Imagine having a coin that's technically a mistake, but a mistake so rare it becomes priceless. That's the irony. What the mint saw as a flaw, collectors now see as a treasure. There's one very specific feature on the 1979 D quarter that, if you spot it, can instantly tell you if you're holding a millionaire maker. I'll get to that in just a moment, but first, let's talk about the people who actually found them. A retired mechanic in Texas was sorting through jars of coins his father had left him. Among hundreds of dimes and nickels, he found a 1979 D quarter in near perfect condition. He thought nothing of it until he took it to a local coin shop. Long story short? That coin eventually sold at auction for over $1 million. We're the story of a single mom who inherited her grandfather's old coin collection. Buried in that collection was a 1979 D with a rare minting error. That discovery paid off her debts and set her on the path to buying her first home outright. The realization that maybe, just maybe, you've already touched a coin that could have changed your life. First, the D mint mark itself, stamped on the coin's front near Washington's ponytail. That tells you it came from Denver. Next, look at the coin's surface. Does it shine like new? Are there scratches, dents, or dullness? The fewer flaws, the higher the value. Certain coins show doubling in the lettering or numbers. If you see what looks like a shadow or double image, don't ignore it. That could be a doubling error, one of the most valuable traits. Think about it like this: spotting these details is like winning the lottery, but with skill. The more you know, the higher your chances of striking it rich. How many times do we all squint at the tiny print on a cereal box for calories, but ignore the print on a coin that could change our lives? Maybe we've been looking at the wrong things all along, and now, let's connect the dots. Finding a rare coin is thrilling, but what do you actually do with it? This is where the path to wealth begins. Verification. You need a professional grading service to confirm authenticity. Without it, your $1 million quarter is just another coin in the eyes of buyers. Preservation. Never clean the coin. I know it's tempting to shine it up, but in the coin world, cleaning is like repainting a classic car, it kills the value. Market it. Auctions, coin shows, online marketplaces, this is where collectors fight over treasures. And let me tell you, when wealthy collectors see a pristine 1979 D quarter with errors, the bidding war gets fierce. Reinvest wisely. That $1 million payday shouldn't just vanish on gadgets or a vacation. Smart collectors reinvest into other coins, assets, or property. That's how one coin can open the door to generational wealth. Coins like this aren't being made anymore. Time only increases rarity. Every year that passes, every coin lost to circulation or damage, makes yours even more valuable. Waiting could cost you a fortune. So let's bring this home. The 1979 D Washington quarter isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that wealth can hide in the most ordinary places. That the difference between financial struggle and financial freedom could be sitting in a jar on your nightstand right now. Here's my challenge to you. Tonight, go through your coins. Look closely. Don't dismiss what looks ordinary. Because the ordinary, as we've learned, can be extraordinary. And if you want more strategies, more stories, and more secrets about coins that could change your life, subscribe right now. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next millionaire-making discovery, because the next time we talk, I might just reveal the coin that could be sitting in your wallet at this very moment, worth ever owned. Imagine pulling out a handful of loose change from your pocket after grabbing a coffee. Quarters, dimes, a few pennies. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that sitting in that handful of coins could be a single quarter worth more than a mansion, more than a fleet of luxury cars, more than most people's retirement accounts combined? That's not fantasy. That's the reality of the 2002 Mississippi $quarter coin, a coin with a current market value of $2.8 million. And now, before you think, well, that'll never happen to me, let me remind you, every millionaire who cashed in on one of these rare coins once thought the same thing. And here's the twist. You don't need a safe full of gold bars or an art collection to stumble into wealth. Sometimes it's sitting right there in your change jar. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to unravel why the Mississippi quarter is so valuable, what sets it apart from the billions of ordinary quarters out there, and most importantly, how you can spot one before you accidentally toss it into a vending machine. And let's be honest, wouldn't it be heartbreaking to realize you just spent a $2.8 million coin on a bag of chips? Let's rewind to the year 2002. The U.S. Mint released the Mississippi State Quarter as part of the wildly popular 50 State Quarters program. Millions of people collected them, and most are worth exactly 25 cents today. But not all quarters are created equal. Some contain rare minting errors, unique strikes, and conditions so pristine that collectors are willing to pay millions. Here's where it gets exciting. Among the Mississippi quarters struck at the Denver Mint, those carrying the D Mint mark, there were a handful that came out different. Maybe a double die error. Maybe a planchet flaw. Maybe a condition so flawless it looks like it was frozen in time. Whatever the reason, these rare survivors are the holy grail for coin collectors. Now, let me pause and ask you this. When was the last time you actually looked at the details of a quarter? Be honest. Most of us treat them like pocket lint. But the collectors who became millionaires paid attention. They noticed the smallest details, the placement of the mint mark, the sharpness of the magnolia design, the mirror-like reflection of the strike. That attention made the difference between spare change and generational wealth, and here's a cliffhanger for you. I'm going to reveal in a moment the single most overlooked detail on the 2002 Mississippi quarter that can turn an ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. But first, let's talk about why people are paying so much. Think about it this way. Wealthy investors often buy rare art or classic cars. Why? Because they're tangible, limited, and they hold their value. Rare coins are the same. There's a thrill of owning something only a handful of people on Earth will ever touch. That's what pushes collectors to open their wallets, sometimes to the tune of millions. The strike quality. The sharpness of the coin's image and lettering. The rare 2002 D quarters that are fetching millions are not dull, worn, or scratched. They are crisp, bold, and preserved almost like they were made yesterday. Now here's where fear kicks in. How many perfect coins have been lost forever because someone tossed them into circulation, unaware of their value? Every day, another one could be slipping through your fingers. Now let's imagine for a moment. You're sitting at your kitchen table, holding a coin magnifier in one hand and a shiny Mississippi quarter in the other. You notice the D Mint mark. You study the magnolia blossom. The details are razor sharp, the luster untouched. Suddenly your heart races. Could this be it? Could this be the moment your life changes forever? That's the transformation I want for you, the shift from treating coins as pocket change to seeing them as hidden treasure. Here's the truth. Most people will ignore this message. They'll say, "Oh, I'll check later," and by the time they remember, they've already spent the coin on laundry or gas. But not you. You're still here, listening, because deep down you know opportunity doesn't knock twice. And the urgency is real. Rare coins like this only become more valuable over time. What's worth $2.8 million today could be $4 or $5 million in the future. Start by looking through your own coins. Check your change jar, your car console, that dusty box of coins in the attic. Pay attention to the details, because that's where fortunes hide. And when you do find something unusual, get it graded by a professional service. That single step can confirm whether your coin is just 25 cents or a ticket to financial freedom. Let me wrap up with this. Every wealthy collector, every millionaire coin seller, started with a single discovery. And there's no reason why the next discovery can't belong to you. So don't let fear of missing out haunt you later. Take action now. But if you want more strategies, tips, and stories on coins worth money, coins that could change your life, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Because your future wealth might just be hiding in plain sight, one coin away from becoming your reality. So here's my question to leave you with: what would you do first if you suddenly found yourself holding a $2.8 million quarter in your pocket, pulling out some loose change, and realizing that one of those ordinary looking quarters could pay off your house, buy you a new car, and still leave you with enough money to retire early? Now here's the kicker: one coin, the 2000 P New Hampshire quarter, has recently been valued at a staggering $2.3 million. That's right, a single coin that most people would toss into a vending machine could change someone's life forever. And before you roll your eyes and say, "Yeah right, my coins are all dirty and worn out," let me tell you, this exact thought has cost thousands of people a fortune. Coins like these are hiding in plain sight. The only difference between a millionaire and a regular person digging for couch change is knowing what to look for. So here's my promise to you. By the end of this video, you will know why the 2000 P New Hampshire quarter is so valuable, what makes it so rare, and exactly how to spot whether you might be holding a multi-million-dollar treasure. Stick around, because missing even one detail could mean missing your chance at life-changing money. But before we dive into the technical details, let me ask you this: how many times have you looked at your pocket change today? 0? 1? 2? Exactly. And that's the problem. The 2000 P New Hampshire quarter was part of the 50-state quarters program. Millions were minted. Most are worth just 25 cents. But among them, a few rare versions slipped through the cracks. Minting errors, variations in design, striking anomalies. These are the details that separate a 25-cent coin from a $2.3 million one. Now you might think, okay, but why New Hampshire? Good question. The state design featured the famous Old Man of the Mountain rock formation. But here's the twist: some quarters came out with errors that make them rare beyond belief. Double strikes, misalignments, and even unique metal compositions have surfaced. Combine that with pristine condition, and suddenly you've got the holy grail of coin collectors. And here's where it gets emotional. Think about it: someone out there probably spent one of these rare quarters at a gas station for a pack of gum. Imagine being that guy. That's the fear factor right there. What if you've already had one of these in your hands and let it slip away? The value and market excitement right now: collectors are in a frenzy. The market value has climbed all the way up to $2.3 million for the finest known example. Every time a coin like this surfaces, bidding wars erupt. People with deep pockets, wealthy investors, passionate collectors scramble to get their hands on it. And let's be real, this isn't just about owning a coin. This is about status, legacy, and financial power. When someone buys a coin for millions, they aren't just buying metal, they're buying history. And you could be the one holding it. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people think these coins live only in dusty museum cases or in the vaults of billionaires. Not true. Some of the rarest finds were discovered in pocket change, old jars in grandma's kitchen, or even tucked into car ashtrays. How to spot the $1 million coin? Alright, let's get practical. Here's what separates a fortune from a regular coin: in mint mark. Look for the P Mint mark on the obverse. That's the Philadelphia Mint. Coins in uncirculated or proof condition are worth exponentially more. If yours still has its original shine, don't even think of spending it. Double die strikes, off-center designs, and unusual metal compositions are the big moneymakers. Even if you think you've got the golden ticket, you'll need a grading service to verify. That's what turns hope into cash in hand. Now here's a cliffhanger for you: what if I told you that most people who think they've found the coin actually miss one tiny detail that kills the value instantly? Don't worry, I'll reveal that in just a moment. Here it is. The truth that separates the winners from the dreamers. Most people who stumble across these coins overlook one fatal flaw: damage. A scratch, a ding, or even light wear can slash the value from millions down to mere hundreds. That's why condition is king. Protect it, handle it carefully, and don't clean it, no matter how tempting it looks. So let's recap: the 2000 P New Hampshire quarter, in its rarest form, can be worth as much as $2.3 million. These treasures often hide in plain sight. Errors, condition, and proper authentication are what transform pocket change into a life-changing payday. And now, let me leave you with this thought. Somewhere out there, right now, someone is tossing one of these coins into a parking meter. And at the same time, someone else is checking their change, discovering a rare quarter, and cashing in for millions. Which side of that story do you want to be on? If you want to live the wealthy lifestyle that comes from spotting treasures others overlook, you need to start today. Check your change. Look through those old jars. Search your coin rolls. Because the next $2.3 million coin could be sitting right in your pocket, and before you go, don't miss out on more life-changing tips about coins worth real money. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join me in uncovering the hidden fortunes that could set you free, because in the world of rare coins, one